Hello once again, it's Joey again at Dice Latte in Seoul, Korea. And I'm showing off some more stuff I've got around the shop. There are some things that I have around and I get a lot of compliments on them, so I think it'd be kind of neat things to share with a wider audience. So sorry about the lighting in here isn't really great for this, but I tried to prop it up with something, but that didn't exactly work. What I have today is a first edition Dungeons and Dragons, first edition Dungeons and Dragons Korean edition from 1995. So this is a box set and includes the red box plus other boxes all in one package, and it all did come together at one time. So so as you can see, it's a box set, and this was released in 1995. It was the first role-playing game that was ever released in Korean, and it, I think, might be the last officially released edition of Dungeons and Dragons in Korean. However, next month, the 5th edition rules are being released in Korean. There was a crowdfunding thing for it that was very successful, and they're gonna release that. Also, my shop and one other shop in Seoul will be the only brick and mortar shops in Korea where you'll be able to buy the Korean edition. So that's kind of cool too. So let's take a look at this one. On the cover, you've got the cool art with the red dragon. Then on the ends, you've just got pretty much the same art you would have from the other TSR editions of a game like this. But the cool thing is what is on these ends. So let me see if I can square it up to the camera really well. This one says something like, here's the fantastic adventure world that you can create yourself and experience. And then the other thing kind of cool is the price. The price is 23,000 won. So that would be in today's dollars with today's exchange rate. That would be something around $20. Maybe a little more than $20, which would be a pretty good deal for this. 1995, $20 was maybe a little bit harder to come by. That might have been when they were kind of going into some other financial crisis. I'm not sure. It might have been before that. So I'm not sure of the exact dates with that. But kind of neat addition. On the other side, we've got something like D&D, the best game system of the century. Something like that. And the other thing cool right here, this actually says Table Talk role-playing game, which maybe was being really specific just to be sure there was not any confusion and people buying it thinking it was a computer game. So, and still today, but the term TRPG is used for RPGs, even though, like it says, fantasy RPG here. So, So let's take a look inside. Set that there. Inside, we've got more cool stuff. For example, we got a map. This map hasn't been folded and unfolded many times, so it's still in really good shape. It hasn't creased through or anything. Right there, it's the Karameikos realm, I guess. Then we've got this is kind of one of the coolest things about this set. So this is, as far as I know, this was released along with this starter set because role-playing games were very new to Korea. Again, this was the very first one that was printed for Korean audiences, printed officially. There may have been unofficial translations of things, and of course, later D&D sets did have their unofficial translations. But this one was just a bit of explanation about what Dungeons and Dragons is, what a role-playing game is, and maybe some places for inspiration to get ideas for campaigns and things like that you were running. So kind of a neat piece of Korean role-playing game history. Also have some hex grid and some character sheets. As far as character sheets, 2 pages. Oh, this one's upside down. So yeah, like magic items and regular items. And we've got our regular stats. You might recognize this older style of a sheet if you've played some older versions of D&D. And we got stats here. Later, I might, once the new edition of Dungeons & Dragons is officially released, I actually do have some of the Korean character sheets from the starter set. But since it hasn't officially been released, I can't really put it on the video right now. But once that is released, maybe I'll do some comparison video with this set and maybe these sheets too. So, but yeah, you see the stats. It might be interesting to see if they use the same terms. Like, for example, gungang, meaning like health, that's what they use for constitution. I don't know if they use the same one. Some people didn't like that translation. Now onto the books. Now the books do have the sticker from the Laughing Goblin on there. Laughing Goblin, if you do come to Seoul and you want to see a really neat D&D cafe, my shop, Dice Latte, and Laughing Goblin are the main 2 shops in Korea and in Seoul. The owner of Laughing Goblin actually gave this to me as a present, so I just left them on there. I have had people also try to buy this set from me, and I've always refused because it was given to me from him as a gift, and I'll always keep it in the shop as long as I've got the shop going. So we've got the Red Box books, the original player manual with the art we all know and love. And we've got the Dungeon Master Rulebook. All in really good shape. I mean, it doesn't even have covers on it. It's like some of the things in here do have covers on them. Maybe those were the books he was using more often. Yeah, Master Player's Book. With things on war machines and so on. Master DM's book. The Expert Rulebook. Maybe this was the one he was using more often, so he put the dust cover on it. The kind of history of how role-playing games emerged in Korea to where they are now is actually pretty interesting, and I might be doing a series on a podcast later about how that kind of came about, and I've got a good friend I'll interview for that, and it is pretty interesting. But for now, we'll just look at the artifacts. Player's Companion. And actually, I've got the DM's Companion here too, just for fun. I do have actually the there we go. I do actually have the English version of the Player's Companion. Mine is not in nearly as good a shape. Actually, it looks like the printing material on this Korean one is much nicer, which could be kind of in tune with the way things are today. Korean books and Korean printings of books are often like way nicer than the English versions of books. The standard's pretty high, and Korean printers do a really good job. So let me see. Lighting's really bad in here for this, but I'll I'll find a page with some pictures on it. We can kind of do a 2-page comparison. There we go. So there's the Korean book, and there's the English one. So you can see they're pretty much the same. But all right, so that's been this. I'm glad. I hope some people like looking at it. It's something that you don't get to see that often. And of course, if anyone stops by the shop and they ask if they can look at it in person and close up, I'm happy to let anyone look at it. As long as they maybe wash their hands first or something. Anyway, that was a bit of an unboxing of an old Korean Dungeons & Dragons set. I hope you enjoyed it. Later I'll make one when the official 5th edition one comes out, and we can kind of look at both of them side by side. All right, so again, it's Joey Kroner at the Dice Latte, and thanks for watching.